Heyo, GrandGoten. We've had a drought of anime games on consoles recently. We got the Demon Slayer game coming out. Love Live had its arcade rhythm game released with a god-awful number of packs to buy, don't bother with it. And Bleach, it's getting god knows whatever numbered gacha it has on consoles for some reason. We just seem to be in this weird state right now. All current anime games like Xenoverse and Shinobi Strikers are getting just DLCs and nothing really. Fighters appears to be at its end, sadly, but maybe we could get another Fighters with massive improvements needed. But phone games, gacha games, those things. Did you know My Hero had one? Then it transformed into a worse version of itself and died. Have a look at the community's response to that change, going from a Smash Tap to a Smash Rising. It was awful. But it's time for My Hero Academia, The Strongest Hero. We'll be taking a look at it, seeing how good of a game it is, and if it's worth your time as a free-to-play player, or if it's just whale hungry and not fun to even try out. Both sides are equally valid. You're free to enjoy a game however you like, really. If you're free to play, whale, doesn't matter. This is just purely informational and made to see if the game is worth your own time. What's the point of putting money in if it's not worth it? What's the point of putting any of your own time if you're just not going to enjoy it? But quickly, before getting into the game, I'd like to talk about the release. It's amazingly perfect release in China. No issues there. It just bopped straight out the door with no issues. Version for the Japanese, it's no issues again, just slipped out lickety-split. English release? Oh. Remember the weirdness of One Piece's Unlimited series that I mentioned in the Pirate Warriors 4 video? And if not, go give that a watch. Strongest Heroes release was separate between the American and European versions, which is fine. That kind of stuff happens with games, you know, it's not a problem. What's not fine is the communication for the American release. Barely any news or proper updates regarding the game on Twitter, just the usual, well, hey guys, look, it's Bakugo from that Boku no Hero thing that you like. We also hit 1 million pre-registrations, isn't that great? No release date, no, shut up. Whereas the European Twitter gave a proper release date, updated people on a countdown just in case they forgot, alongside information of the characters themselves, so an overall better experience, I'd say. Now, what happened on its release date? Well, the American version was finally announced to have the same release date, and the European version dropped, but the American version was nowhere to be seen. But because of time zones, of course, which is all well and good, the UK version wasn't really released because we were attached to the American one. Now, obviously, I wanted to look around to make sure what that was, and the reason is due to publishing rights for My Hero in the UK and the US to other countries in Europe. So they decided to just group all those together as it would make more sense for them. It was a dumb, painful experience and probably one of the worst gacha launches I have ever seen, and I have seen a fair share. And people just clamoring for any news from anything at all hours of the day to find out. But that was then, and this is now. Is communication better? On Twitter, yes, they are better at talking to us, the general back and forths, but talking about actual issues relating to the game? No, complete radio silence. They in no way want to directly mention any issues the game is having, and it's just horrible. I'll give Dokkan and Legend shit for feeling all robotic, but at least when push comes to shove, they will address and talk about an issue if it's severe enough. Or really automated apology tweets if something goes wrong, or if they've done something to the game, the fanbase doesn't like it, and they realise they couldn't get away with it. Strongest Hero is a 3D action RPG game utilising characters from the My Hero universe to complete story missions, offline, online events, and rage as you don't pull the shard of that one particular S-rank character you really want. I'm looking at you, Todoroki. I've tried so many times to try and pull you, but those rates wanna get me. Let's talk about the visuals, and I think the game looks nice. It looks very good for a 3D action game on a phone. All characters are accurately well represented, their hero costumes look great, everything around the effect related to their quirks looks good, even just simple things like the lightning crackling on Deku whenever he uses One for All is really nice, even the character portraits that we see. I can see the game will look better visually as it goes on, since characters themselves obviously go through costume changes like Bakugo's winter outfit and everything, or their quirks evolve and their styles match that, you know, Deku. I could say that now, the anime finally passed it. The areas you fight in look fine, I think they look nice. You'll be seeing a construction site, a beach, a park, it kind of looks like a park area, a lot. They're not horrible, but you will get probably tired of seeing them all the time. The music itself is fine. I usually play gacha games with sound off anyway, but stuff like Dokkan's soundtrack was pretty good, but while hearing some tracks as I was editing, it's pretty nice stuff actually. It's very good. I'll be using some of the background music from the game anyway, so you probably would have already heard some of it now. Right, now time for the real meat and potatoes. Gameplay. A gacha is only as good as its gameplay, and its rates, and how they treat a player base regardless of pay-to-play or free-to-play standpoints. So maybe it's more like the big piece of a meal in an already large meal. Yeah, analogies. Even with touch controls, the gameplay works. It just, if you're not knowing what you're doing, you'll be mashing that basic attack button a lot, and getting probably annoyed at the joystick for movement just randomly disappearing unless you're tapping the screen. The game does feel a tad clunky initially, but you'll get over that quickly, I've found. Find characters that fit your playstyle and begin to learn them. Thankfully, each character's come with a tutorial, so you can learn about the certain combos to use and certain quirks that they may have regarding special moves and unique abilities. And the controls themselves are all the same for each character, so usually movement speeds, unless it's for a special ability like Ida or Bakugo, aren't all too different. Skills are in the same spots, ultimates always appear above the third skill, and they're easy to get used to. No issues with any random switchings of characters in PvE or PvP at all, so don't have any fears about trying to find characters that fit your style. You start off with Deku, of course, and you get Denki Kaminari and Kirishima as well after a fact. And they're all perfectly fine, Deku's up close personal, using quick moves and everything, his one-for-all special powers him up and everything. Kirishima's about the defense, you have a counter move and everything, a few AoE attacks. Denki's all about the range, so that's no problem at all, just throwing lightning bolts and everything, powering up his little bar at the bottom till you can unleash a really big attack. Bakugo himself is about building up his sweat with all of his special unique moves to unleash a really big attack. Ochako's obviously about using gunhead martial arts with her anti-gravity quirk so that she can start laying down a shit ton of really big, quick chip damage on people. It's beautiful to see when someone can use Ochako right, in either this game or in One's Justice 2. It's amazing. There are a lot more characters, obviously. You've got All Might using One for All in a big, flashy way. You got Momo creating cannons and such, and you got Todoroki with Fire and Ice. But I didn't pull everyone, so I can't really talk about everyone. But that's fine. It's fine. It's not like the gacha rates are awful. Yeah, those rates aren't too great. I don't recall what they were exactly. I'm gonna have to quickly look that up. Yeah, the rates suck really, really badly. It's not awful, there's a pity system. That was better in the other versions, where if you do 10 multis, you can get an S-rank character guaranteed, so I guess it's all about the saving when it comes to those special unique characters. The most important thing to any gacha, an aspect for me that is integral to enjoy one. And I'm not a whale. I'll spend a tiny bit of money here and there on some things if I think the deal is right and I'm really enjoying the game. But at the end of the day, I'd like to say I'm a free-to-play player. I will not stick with a game unless it's good to its player base, especially the free-to-play one. I play Legends still, and they're all about the 3 steps forward, 2 steps back on its player base. Awful. Grand Cross is another can of worms as well. Half the time, Netmarble just wants to screw over the global side of the game. The Japanese side still gets its fair share of bullshit, but there always seems to be something going on. So maybe okay, I'm actually sticking with some clearly bad apples, but still, for most games, it's integral. We can add this game to the list of bad apples because, oh my god, this game does not want its free-to-play player base to actually enjoy themselves. For summoning, the strongest hero uses tickets. You use 10 tickets for a multi, 1 ticket for a single summon. Now, you get given a lot of tickets, I'd like to say, at the start of the game, and hero coins. Hero coins are currency that can be used to purchase other aspects of the game, like event tickets or hero tickets. Do not get hero tickets with your coins, focus on event tickets. So you can use those to summon 4 more characters, and shards to improve the already summoned 4 characters. Now, like I said, those rates, awful. Very, very bad. This game will have you sink a lot of event tickets into new characters like All Might or Endeavor, and I can only stress to truly save event tickets for a character you really want, especially if you're free to play. Or if you think the luck gods are on your side, go for it. I'm not the boss of you, go for it. What makes it all worse is hero coins are a finite resource if you want lots of them. This game makes you really work for them. Really work for them unless you're a whale. It has become so bad. I'm barely in the game and it already feels dire. And the stamina system. Don't get anyone started with the stamina system. This is a textbook example of how not to do a stamina system in a phone game. I'm only about 120 stamina right now. And if you want to do some grinding for training items, apparently it's 125 stamina to do it 5 times for the level I'm at. Most stages are also 20 stamina or higher. And that's just absurd. You'll be playing the game for about 30 minutes before it's all used. So while editing this video, they addressed the stamina and hero coins issue. A little bit. They mentioned improvements to the systems, but still kept wary regarding actual implementation. Even more of an update, they actually didn't fix it. They just improved it a tiny bit, but it's still terrible. Like, my god, come on. The hero coins were improved even more. They're just awful. They improved the rush tickets, big whoop. It's just an awful approach. And the maintenance rewards, oh my god. So I've been burned before with Netmarble, so I'm keeping my guard up, but it's nice to see that it's been addressed. Used up and the game asks you to use hero coins, or the wrong rare stamina item that you can use to restore it, or use money for either or to gain it back. So just none of it. It's awful. This needs sorting out sooner rather than later. They are choosing later. Now, in terms of leveling and powering up your characters, that too is a resource sink. They can start off fine. With some of the know-how for free-to-play players, you can find yourself struggling at the end, unless you really make this game your whole life for a brief period. You'll need food for leveling up, training items to rank up for more leveling up, shards to unlock more uniques and aspects of your characters to make them more powerful. Those DNA items do boost passive abilities and aspects of skills. Support cards for summoning pro heroes and gaining new passives to help you with fights. Those need leveling as well, their own enhancement materials and boost materials, and get them to help you further. You get, yeah? A lot of people were put off with the time sink needed, and a few friends of mine quit or just didn't bother due to what they saw. And the overabundance of menus in the game, whew, it does not help you. It's like an MMO for your pocket. So if all the grinding and time needed for this game doesn't put you off, you may ask when's the best time to jump in. Well, the game's pretty new for global audiences. I'd say now. See if the game works for you. Put a fair chunk of time in, not a lot, just, you know, enough that's fine, and see if it's worth it for you. There's a lot of aspects to enjoying this game when you get through the overabundance of menus and the clear, money-hungry status that the game kind of has. Not perfect for free-to-plays, but I still don't think it's terrible for them. If you're curious about any future events, or you want to live vicariously through a whale to see some big boys summons, for the strongest hero I'd say look at Cetin and Hydros. Both are excellent content creators who put a lot of effort into their videos, thorough research, always try and help the community with what they can do, and you'll probably have already heard of them, but regardless, I highly recommend them and think you should seek them out. I'd like to thank you all for watching, it means a lot, always does, it really, really does. Who is your favourite My Hero character? Let me know in the comments below. It's Miro for me, baby. And also, recommend any gachas to me regarding any licensed products, you know? The Dragon Ball ones, the One Piece ones, Bleach's 78 ones, I don't know. I always feel like videos regarding those gacha games should be out there to inform players. Sure, they might become outdated as the game's quality of life updates, but it's always nice to know how a game treats its free-to-play players, if it's the right time to jump in yet, or when you should potentially jump in, or what aspects you could focus on, or if it's really just worth your time. It could have really helped me in the past.